Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm FiddlinJonny. This is my fiddle channel, and of course a magic review. But you're probably asking, where's the fiddle tune? Well, I busted a string right before we started, and I thought, I don't want to change the string, too much of a hassle. So, sorry, there's no fiddle tune this time. Don't worry, there'll be more. I know you're really here though for the magic reviews. I am reviewing Mark Elsdon's Casino OOTW, or Out of This World routine. I have to admit, I'm kind of disappointed with real aspects of this release. Doesn't mean it's not worth purchasing for some folks. But anyway, I'll just get into the review. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Stick around, we'll get right into the review. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Grateful that you are here. Today we're going to do Mark Elsdon's Out of This World, or Casino OOTW. Man, I just hate it when I get something from someone who I'm a huge fan of. I love Mark Elsdon stuff. I buy a lot of his different routines. Don't like all of them. You know, sometimes there's hit or misses, but generally he's more hit than miss. And this was, to be honest, was a disappointment. What a bummer. Doesn't mean you should pass on this product. It might be something you still consider. So let's talk about that. So first of all, if you're brand new here, you don't know what an out of this world routine is, or you're new to magic, an out of this world routine, at least for this version, here's how it looks, is that you're going to hand out the cards to your spectators. They're going to shuffle them. If you're doing it for a group of people, everybody can shuffle the cards. And then you'll bring the cards back together. They are shuffled. You don't have to take them out of view or anything. You will then ask your spectators whether a card, by looking just at the back side of it, not the face, whether it's a red card or a black card. And based upon that, you put the red cards into a stack of red cards and the black cards into a stack of black cards by only looking at the backs of the cards. Once that has been done, then you reveal, the performer, that they have indeed successfully done from a shuffled deck, been able to determine and separate all the black cards into a single pile and all the red cards into a single pile. It's a great freaking effect. There are about 500 different versions of Out of This World out there, and all of them sort of have some pros and cons, and this one is similar to that. But this has, you know, some serious pros, especially from a routine point of view. Let's talk a little bit about, so that's an Out of This World routine. What do you get with this one? You're going to get this right here. This is what is sent to you, and it is, boom, B, bicycle cards, casino quality cards. And that's exactly what they are, except for the fact that they have been gimmicked. So you're going to get these deck of cards. I really like the cards because they're big cards, borderless cards. That's them there. That's them there. You can freely see these. You can freely have your spectators shuffle them as much as they want. Doesn't matter. So you're going to get that, and then get this. You're going to get an instructional video. It's not a downloadable video. It is a streaming video, and that video instruction is 12 minutes in length. 12 minutes in length. What a disappointment. That's where my main issue is with this. So let's talk a little bit about the instructions. So if you had to ask me, FiddlinJonny, how are the instructions? In one word, I would say terrible. Terrible. Some of the worst I've seen in a long, long time, which is such a disappointment for a great routine, a great gimmick, but the instructions just suck. It's kind of hard to talk about the instructions because it's really, it looks like it was a taping, or not a tutorial. It's hard to call it a tutorial because it's really, it looks like it was a lecture given to a local magic club that was taped. So, all right, let's talk about what was good about it. It's lit well, it's mic'd well, and it's got 2 cameras, but it's not all mic'd well. So Mark it looks like it's in a bar situation with a small audience of magicians asking questions. So you can hear it when Mark is talking. You can see some tight shots occasionally of Mark up close type of shots. But then the audience occasionally will ask questions, and you cannot hear what the questions are from the audience members. Mark responds to them, but you don't know what he's responding to. So that just sucked, to be honest. But let's get right down to what is the problem with the instructional video? It's 12 minutes in length. What you need to do in order to perform this routine is to learn a single move or sleight. I like to call it a move rather than a sleight because it's a move, not really fancy sleight of hand. The move is super knacky. Some of you might already know what the move is, and it takes some practice. Mark spends a total of, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe 5 seconds on it. He'll basically go, okay, here's what the move is. You're gonna hold the cards like this in your left hand, or sorry, your right hand, and then you're gonna do this, and boom, the move is done. And that's it. For a super knacky move, that is not enough. He had said in that instructional video, and Mark, if you're watching, whom I'm a huge fan, thank you for watching. I'm just disappointed about this tutorial, is you give an example of that you're going to hold the cards in your right, sorry, I can't remember if it was left hand or right hand at this moment, left or right hand, and then you're gonna bring your other hand over like this, and then you're gonna put pressure on the corners. I don't know which pressure you're talking about. Are you talking about my left hand or with my right hand? For the longest time, I thought you were talking about my right hand, when indeed it was my left hand. So now look, I'm experienced. I immediately found the one that's taught on there almost impossible to do, and just found a simpler way for me to be able to perform the move. And I think for any intermediate magician, for which this is really intended for, not a super big deal, because you'll be able to figure out what works best for you, because you've been working with cards forever. You'll understand how these cards work based upon how they're gimmicked, and therefore you'll figure out the way that works best and easiest for you. But in all honesty, if you're going to give a tutorial, please spend a little more time on there. Now moving back to my regular audience, on there I think they realized that they hadn't given enough tutorial to the actual move, so they actually put up on the screen at a certain point. I'll read it for you. At first it might seem difficult, ... but it suddenly becomes super easy. And then later on in the video, not really going to call it a tutorial, Mark says, yes, it's a knacky move, but you know, with about sitting down with it for 30 minutes, you'll get it, and it'll just be really easy to do. I know a magician who's been working on it for the last 45 minutes and still hasn't been able to get it 100%. Some of the time, not all the time. Now, with all of that said, could I go out and perform this right away and get away with it? Absolutely, 100%. Mostly because I've been dealing with cards for my entire life. Not a problem. There's this, you know, you can figure it out. So if you're an intermediate magician, look, you don't have to worry about it. But I think if you're a beginner magician, you're not going to get the level of instruction on this video that's going to be helpful for you. Unless you are really dedicated and willing to put in the time and work hard, yes, you can do it, of course, because it's not, I'll still say it's knacky, okay? It just is. All right, so I'm going to also add in there, there's not a single performance on the tutorial. He walks through the routine, goes through the routine in terms of showing it and walks through it, but it's not a performance. If you want to see a performance, you can watch the video promoting the sale of it, and on there you'll actually see a performance of it, but it's actually sped up at times, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that, but you don't even see a full sort of performance of it, and sort of talking about like, well, what about if this happens, or how do you deal with that? There's a little bit on there, but it's so small, it's not very helpful. All right, let's talk about how is the gimmick. I love the gimmick. It's great. The gimmick is cool. It's great because they're B cards. Let's talk about the skill level. I said this earlier, intermediate. If you're not an intermediate magician, card magician, I would probably work on other stuff before you go to this one, because the move's just too knacky probably. All right, so pros. The pros, and this is really good, is this is based upon Wyman Jones and Paul Harris's work of Mysteries of Astonishment, Volume 3. Did I get that right? And it's also based upon Barry Richardson's Rounders work. So Paul Harris and Wyman Jones did Galaxy, which is a very similar routine, and it is in the Art of Astonishment, Volume 3. And so Mark has taken that routine and says that he's taken sort of the problems in that routine and solved those, and that's why this one's better. And then also taken the concept from Barry Richardson and rounders. So I would say, one, Mark does an awesome job with crediting, and he's standing on the shoulders of giants there in terms of folks who have really put in the work for this routine, those methods, and so they're based on some really solid stuff. So if you're a worker, you know that this is not some sort of hokey release in that respect, and that it's a great worker. All right, so I think this version, in terms of the routining, is really good. I like that the cards are in the spectator's hands. They can examine the cards all they want before and after, although they're probably not going to go into their hands afterwards because they don't need to, because they touched them in the beginning. Let's see. He also tells you how the deck is made, which you probably, if you've been around for a while, you know how the deck might be made. But I do like the fact that he's essentially, because you know how the deck is made. Let's see, what else would I say about that in terms of the pros? I think that's it. The cons are, here's what you need to know. It's a knacky move, and instructions are terrible. I would only go for this if you're at the intermediate level. Who's going to like this? Card magicians. Card magicians are folks who love out-of-this-world routines. I really like out-of-this-world routines included in my professional set. Can't remember whose version I'm doing, though. I've been doing it so long I've now forgotten that. But basically, if you like out-of-this-world and you're a card magician, you'll like this. Let's talk about the cost. In the United States, this costs $29.95. I went to Merchant of Magic for those of you in the UK, and for Great Britain, it's at £28.75, or euros, it's 33.40 euros. So that's the cost. I honestly think, given that the tutorial was so terrible, that it's not worth that money. I think they should knock off. In the US, it's $29.95. It's probably closer to $20, I think, is what its true value is, or maybe $25. I think it's a little expensive at that price. But if you're a worker, maybe you consider it. All right, that's all I gotta say. At the end of the day, it's a great routine with a gimmick deck that works really well, but you have to understand that it's knacky. You're gonna have to take the time to practice in order to make it work. That's really what you need to know about this. All right, so I do have some other things you might be interested in coming up. I've got Isolated, which is an any card at any number routine by Sky Member Presents. I got that one coming up. I haven't opened it yet, so don't know what's in there. And I've got Henry Harris's Cube in Bottle coming up as well. So those are some of the reviews I have that you can expect. Mine are unbiased. I purchased these myself. They are not sent to me. So you know that you're going to just get an honest review. Hey, if you do an out-of-this-world routine, one that you really like that you would recommend, go ahead and leave that in the comments. If you purchased this and you have other thoughts or perspectives that I didn't have, or you'd like to amplify some of the things I said, please do so. And I think that's it for now. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. It really helps. I want to grow this channel and be around for a long time. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.